Hello. You are welcome to Story World. In the small town of Maplewood, life was quiet, the rhythm steady and predictable. But for young Jamie Carter, that rhythm wasn't enough. Jamie had always heard another beat in his heart, a beat driven by music. Growing up in a modest family, Jamie often sat by his bedroom window, strumming an old guitar that once belonged to his late father. His father had been a musician too, though he never found fame. Instead, he had made his mark as the town's local guitarist, playing at weddings, small events, and occasionally in the town square. Jamie's father had passed when Jamie was young, but his spirit lived on in the notes of every song Jamie played. Jamie's passion for music was intense, but life wasn't easy. By the time he was 18, Jamie had left school and was juggling two jobs, one as a dishwasher in a local diner and another as a warehouse worker during the late shifts. In between, he practiced his guitar and wrote songs, hoping for a break. His dream was to one day see his name in lights, but to most people around him, it was just that, a dream. Yet Jamie didn't let the doubt from others or the lack of resources slow him down. He played wherever he could, at local pubs, on street corners, and even at community events. His voice was soulful, raw, and powerful, and his lyrics resonated with the pain and beauty of life in a way that moved those who took the time to listen. Slowly, he built a small fan base, and some of the locals began to recognize his face. Still, it was a struggle, and every dollar he made went to either his rent or his music. One cold winter night, while playing on the corner of Main Street, a talent scout from a small record label, Ryan Brooks, happened to walk by. Ryan was in town visiting family and was captivated by Jamie's voice. After the performance, Ryan approached him. "You've got something special, kid," he said, handing Jamie his business card. "Call me if you're interested in recording." Jamie could barely believe it. He took the card, and after a long, sleepless night, decided to call. Within a month, Jamie was in a small studio in the city, recording his first single. But the dream didn't turn into reality as smoothly as he had hoped. The single didn't take off as they expected, and while he gained a few more fans, he was still relatively unknown. Jamie, however, wasn't ready to give up. For years, he continued working, writing songs, and performing in tiny venues across the city, pouring his heart into every show. He endured long, grueling tours with little pay, but he always kept going. Slowly, word began to spread. One day, his single, Lonely Nights, went viral online. People across the country were sharing his song, moved by his heartfelt lyrics and gritty voice. The overnight success took Jamie by surprise, and suddenly, he was thrust into the limelight. With the newfound attention, larger record labels began to notice him. Jamie signed with a prominent label, and soon after, he released his first album, Rise Again. The album was a hit, reaching the top of the charts. His songs were played on radio stations, and he was invited to perform on popular TV shows. Fans were drawn not just to his music, but to his story, a young man who had fought against the odds to achieve his dream. As his fame grew, Jamie went on his first international tour, performing in sold-out arenas around the world. From small-town cafes to massive stadiums, he could barely believe how far he'd come. But with fame came challenges. The pressure to constantly produce hit. There were times when he felt lost, struggling to balance his passion for music with the demands of fame. One night, after a sold-out concert in Tokyo, Jamie sat alone in his hotel room, feeling overwhelmed. The joy of playing music had been replaced by a constant pressure to maintain his status as a superstar. Remembering his roots, he picked up his old guitar, the same one he had played on street corners years ago. He strummed the familiar chords, and the peace returned to him. In that moment, Jamie remembered why he had started this journey, not for fame, but for the love of music. With a renewed sense of purpose, Jamie took a step back from the spotlight. He returned to the studio, focused on creating music that truly reflected his soul, rather than what the industry demanded. His next album, Roots, was a personal project, inspired by his journey and dedicated to his father. It was raw, honest, and stripped of the glitz and glamour. To everyone's surprise, the album was even more successful than his previous ones. His fans connected with the authenticity of his music, and Jamie's legacy as a genuine artist was cemented. Jamie Carter had finally found peace. He had achieved the dream he had once thought impossible and stayed true to himself in the process. From that small town to the world stage, Jamie had become a symbol of resilience, a reminder that with passion, persistence, and heart, even the most unlikely dreams can come true. Moral of the story: in life, never you give up in anything good you are doing. Thank you.